Okay, we move on to part six of my talking, and we now discuss wrestling companies. And this is another subject of mine that I enjoy discussing with my audience. So let's discuss wrestling companies, mostly British wrestling companies in um, England, and then the local businesses around home chat and other places. So our wrestling companies are dying industry. And I think the answer to the question is some are, depending on the business itself. I think some of the businesses that we have in our local area don't do very well because the advertising is not very good. What I will say is one company in particular stands out to me every time I enjoy watching their shows because they're a decent company, been around for many years. And that company is CSF Wrestling. They're often wrestling from devices and other places like that. And they always have, I must admit, and they have 3 shows per year. And they do it very well because they do more than one show a year and they're very successful within their shows. And they often do different matches, different people attending, and different things like that. Unfortunately, the women's champion was injured, so he hasn't been seen for a while, but I'm sure he'll be back sometime in the future. So yes, they did very well. Another company that used to do very well for wrestling business was UCW, Ultimate Championship Wrestling, which was run by a man called Gav James Humphries, and his mum and his dad, Reg, and a referee called Reno. And again, they done very well. I used to get their shows all the time, and they had some great matches over there, including UK Pitbulls, VC Taker, Jerry and Checkmate, which was a brilliant tag team match. It was a very good match, and also all the matches Gav done himself were very good. So they also done very well. Now, there is another company I want to discuss, and that is Immortal Wrestling. Immortal Wrestling is another very good company that does a show once a year, and they seem to do tend to do very well, but they do not seem to be busy enough in the sense that they use venues that have the capacity to fill up more, and they don't simply fill it up. They never sell out. And that is a shame because you want to ideally sell out to make money, because you want to make profit, because profit is how you keep your business alive. And unfortunately, Morrison doesn't do that. Unfortunately, sadly, I don't know why they don't. Is it because people just don't? Is wrestling a dying thing now? Do people no longer want to watch wrestling? And I think, I think some of it is possibly that, or other factors that come into play. But I do feel that it also depends on the area within you work. So I feel that, a lot of it is to do with areas and different things. There come into factors to, that do, unfortunately, enable you to make money. I'm not saying that doing is a bad thing, but it can be. So you want to make profit. Now, my company, example, is now been changed recently. We call it Element Entertainment, I believe, or we were for it. But anyway, it should. We are hoping to do shows in the future, and we are hoping to work out of Bristol. So that's very good things we can do there. But the fact remains the same. Different companies have different ways of doing things. UCW used to get the likes of, well, I'll give you a few names here that they had over a couple of times. They had Jim Naito, they had CM Punk, they had Sanjay Dutt, they had Sandman, they had Mick Foley, they had AJ Styles, I think maybe possibly at one point or whatever. They had wrestlers that were on Shane Douglas, I think, come over at one point as well. So they had a lot of wrestlers that were well known, and they had done well, like I said before, because of the shows they put on, and they had done very well. The owner of Immortal Wrestling has had, in his show, he had Dirty Dango, which was formerly Fandango from WWF, or WWE, sorry. So he done well that night. The CSF have had Scotty 2 Hotty over a few times, and they done very well. Scotty 2 Hotty is a great wrestler, despite the fact that he is not old and past his prime, I would say. But hey ho, it is what it is. getting the addresses puts bums on seats, and that's what you got to do. You got to get the fans in, right? Of course, many people that are younger than me won't know who Scotty 2 Hotty is, but the people my age and older, generations that will know who he is from the WWF Attitude days. So yes, I do feel wrestling companies are doing well, and are they dying in the industry? I don't think so at this present time. I don't think they'll ever die out. I think maybe they will. Who knows? Maybe eventually they will. But for now, they are a very successful business, and I enjoy watching their shows. So that's what I'm going to say on this matter. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and comment on this on YouTube, your thoughts and takeaways from this, please. Thank you.